weigh in on them, and then maybe we can talk about some other issues as well. The other thing I'd like to do, I allowed 30 minutes for this. We may go a tiny bit over, and then we'll do just a quick wrap-up of this day overall and feedback on that, and then we'll try and end a little early. But the other thing I'd like to do after we talk about these topics is talk about actions that each lab can go back then and talk about with your whole group and think about how you can improve or change or continue doing what you're doing over the next year. So let's start out with community engagement. Do you guys just want to pop up one by one and quickly represent your groups and what your thoughts were on this topic? And I'll try and take some kind of notes. Why don't you go first?
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. With regard, and chime in if I miss anything here. Community engagement. We talked about going to service groups, the Lions, the Kiwanis, and what have you, to advocate for the labs and to give input as to what we're doing and what we would like to see done in the community, that type of thing. And that would include, and it would be community engagement with regard to anything that may be impacting the library itself. And if that meant going to a city council or a chamber of commerce or some group that is trying to do something that is impacting the library, then we would want to engage community-wise with them to make sure that they know what our position is.
We talked about the open houses and many of the Bruce described a really good outreach to the high school that resulted in their attracting 3 youth members for their work.
Great. Any other thoughts from the group about community engagement as a topic? Do you guys feel like you're adequately engaged right now? Do you feel like you want to be more engaged? More.
We had our survey in our open house, but we figured that the problem, that's only getting to the people who are already using the library. How do you get people on that?
And do you have thoughts about that?
We can come up with answers.
That's a great question. Does anyone else?
We did talk about going out to businesses and talking about
Yes.
what the library had to offer
Right.
for them. They're individual people as well as the business itself.
Okay, let's skip ahead to communication. I think that kind of overlaps here. Do you feel like we covered that enough?
No, we haven't covered that.
Okay.
Because we talked about we opened up talking about communication between SCL, the branch libraries, and the Friends. And we got into what probably was just a communication problem. But we dragged Brett over to explain his point of view, which, because we were getting it from Friends' viewpoints.
Third hand.
And it is, what it turned out to be is just a matter of communication difference. Brett being on top, looking down and trying to gather information so he can do better planning and SCL can do better planning. But from the Friends' point of view, looking up, we're sort of bottoms raising money for a specific library. We're very much not the large organization point of view. We're a local Friends specifically working for a specific branch, and therefore we're at a what do you call it, a micro level, whereas Brett's coming from the macro level. But so the communication he's passed on to his branch managers came down to the Friends groups as a dictation, and they were upset about that. So they wanted an explanation. He's explaining, oh no, this is a good thing. And so I think,
And in the lab, where the liaison is going to be.
so, but something needs to happen there. I think there is more communication needed. That clarification is needed because apparently there are misinterpretations of what the plan is.
We talked about how those various labs could talk with more than one voice, communicate better. And possibly since we can get all those lab members for the whole county here today, maybe just the chairs could start by having an email list or something and come out and say, here are our issues. And then they could go to the commission, because I think the commission has a slot for the labs every month. And we could make sure that whoever wants to talk could represent all the various labs, bring up all the topics.
Can I ask a question? Does the lab notes, the notes that come out from every commission meeting, are those effective or ineffective, or do people get them, read them?
I enjoy them.
Okay.
I read them. I read them.
One thing I'll add from my perspective, and I do try to go to all the lab meetings, but I wondered if the way that the labs are built and the way the lab members are appointed, it does seem like a weak communication link between the labs and library administration, because I do have to either attend the meetings myself or ask the managers to talk to me, or I guess read minutes. So it's something I wonder, as the labs become more and more effective, how will ensure that the interests of the labs and library administration are somewhat in sync? What do y'all think?
I think the commissioners, Helena, as our commissioner, does a fantastic job of listening to us, and I think taking it back if it's pertinent, and then her sharing a commission, meeting ideas and exchanges. I think that is the first link in all of this, because now we've expanded our commissioners. But
I think that you all have a direct link to the commission. It's just like sometimes I try to figure out how I can keep up with the lab.
Well, can I just say, from the point of view of the commissioner, I think it would be impossible for you to always go to all the meetings. But I think it's really valuable, and I think it's really valuable for the lab that if you can't be there, which I don't think anybody can possibly expect you to do that every month, that one of the managers goes. And I think that gives the lab some additional insight into how the library works, because they usually share things from their perspective. So if they were to communicate with you, what's happening, with the lab, and I think that was like neat community. And the branch manager, you can be the branch manager.
More informal, yeah, like that, once you know.
Anything else on communication?
Well, I go back to number one, the purpose of the lab. And I frankly don't know what the purpose of the lab is. I know what we do, and we've been doing it for years and years and years, but I don't know what is expected of the lab, or what should we be doing? What should we be involved in? What should be our purpose?
Do we want to skip to that and have a discussion? I think that's a great topic. Any thoughts?
Well, we tackled that one first off the bat, and here are some of the comments that we had. It may be something inherently flawed in the structure in the way that we're set up as